I feel like such a dork.
Why?
I don't know.
Without your ponytail?
Perimenopause, I think. Can we talk about that, guys?
We can get vulnerable about that on Real America.
We mock those who are vulnerable on this part of our personality. Democrats have a riot problem. Over the weekend, protests erupted in Los Angeles over ICE raids, and the city of Angels is on fire yet again.
It is, and this is not the first time. This is called arson. This is a felony. This is an arson, okay?
It is always burning. Riot season is upon us. And if you think this past weekend was bad, well, buckle up, buckaroos, because this dumpster fire is only just preheating.
Buckle up, buckaroos!
I've never been so happy as I am daily about the decision to leave LA. Every news story that's come out of there since I left has only affirmed the choice I made for me and my family and my company, which is to get the fuck out of there, people! You all have Stockholm Syndrome! You're in a cult of good weather, and you need to free yourself. I'm Bridget Phetasy, and this is your Dumpster Fire! Welcome to Dumpster Fire, where we make burgers out of your sacred cows. We premiere new episodes every Tuesday and Friday at 8 p.m. Central. Please join us in the chat. Before we get going, some upcoming comedy dates for you guys. Tickets are available for my stand-up comedy show, Ask Me Anything. The next show is Tuesday, June 24th. At 7 p.m. at the Creek in the Cave in Austin. There's a link in the description where you can buy tickets. I've also partnered with Two Way for my new live online show called Real America. Join us live on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. It's a lot of fun, you guys. You can register to be a member of the audience that can ask questions at twoway.tv/Bridget Zoom. There's a link in the description below. This week we're talking about divorce in honor of Elon and Trump. You should also be checking out my other show, Walk-Ins Welcome, the redheaded stepchild of the Fediverse. But my favorite show. Beloved by all. If you haven't checked it out, we have some great guests all the time and coming up. And
it's on its own YouTube channel at More Bridget Phetasy.
We didn't get rid of it. We just moved it to its own channel. It's moving on up in the world. The Democrats were having what should have been a good week. They should have been celebrating. Trump and Musk imploded spectacularly and predictably. And that's all anyone should have been talking about. But they truly cannot help themselves. They've got to start throwing Molotov cocktails and burning down cities and looting the minute they have a win. This is like a January 6th every week for years in these cities. Ever since the George Floyd riots and then the Free Palestine protests. And now here we are in another Summer of Love 2.0. We've got the ICE protests.
The ice-capades.
The ice-capades. It's baffling to me how the Democrats just seem incapable of learning from any lessons from the past 10 years. And they could have just done nothing. The ICE raids aren't wildly popular either. Deporting criminals, people are fine with, but even Republicans can be squeamish about deporting law-abiding folks who are just trying to make a life for themselves here with families. They're not necessarily legal, but they're not, murdering people. Normies don't like images of vans with dudes in civilian clothes and masks taking students or a lunch lady. No matter what the story ends up being, those optics were working against Republicans. The media was weaponizing them and using them to their best. And the fact is, they weren't even deporting that many people. In fact, it was so not that many people that Stephen Miller was furious and he was threatening to fire top ICE officials unless they started meeting their stupid quota of 3,000 people a day. I think quotas are dumb in these instances because this is how you end up rounding up people who shouldn't be deported. The Democrats and left-wing media and all of the activists could have just let Dr. Phil run around with ICE and let that be the lead story. Yes, you heard that correctly. Dr. Phil was embedded with ICE, and I'm supposed to take that seriously.
You're ugly. You're disgusting. I'm going to kill you. Give me $200.
I mean, it's actually offensive how dumb it is. And Dems could have just sat back and mocked the shit out of that spectacle. But nope. They're breaking Napoleon's cardinal rule. Never interrupt your enemy when he is making a mistake. If they had done nothing, it would have just been stories about ICE raids, the travel ban, which was completely buried, and Trump and Elon's breakup. And instead of sweet old men with tacos being put in vans by dudes in masks and body armor, we have images of men holding Mexican flags standing on top of burning Waymos. It's the incoherence, too, that drives me mad. The optics make no sense to me, a simple normie. Protesters are waving the Mexican flag to protest people being sent back to Mexico?
And no one is injured, and it doesn't escalate from here. Look at the flag. Yeah, Guy, I see
there it is. Mexican flag can,
it really doesn't.
Shouldn't you be waving the American flag if you want to stay here? And why are all those flags so damn clean in these pictures? These flags are crisp and clean and ironed. It's like they're fresh out of the Amazon Riot gear pack. It does seem defeating to be waving your flag, whether it's Venezuela or El Salvador or Mexico, because it does seem like ICE will know which country to send them back to. You guys are so bad at this. Let me run your ops and your party. I will have everyone on the right's brain so broken they won't know what to do. If you guys were burning cars and waving the American flag, that would be much more difficult to cover and put in a little box. These are also the same people who believe that the U.S. is a systemically racist, fascist, evil, colonizing shithole, and yet they're mad that everyone can't come here and stay as long as they want. None of the messaging makes sense, and it makes me crazy.
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills!
The only place that images of Mexican flags waving in the air would really land is Mexico. These leftist activists will, and even some of their leaders, will gladly watch their cities burn if it confirms what they think about Trump. It's a psychotic time we're in. These two forces playing off one another. And I do truly believe the only thing we can do is laugh. Dr. Phil embedded in ice. That was a real sentence I read.
Open the door or I'm going to throw rocks through your windows, you dumb whore.
I mean, it is dystopian, but it is almost like a dystopian comedy. And then you have Waymos being burned. I realized over the weekend a lot of people don't know what Waymos are. Waymos are self-driving cars that are being used in major United States cities. They are driverless. It's like Uber. You order one, but you get in and there's no driver. They're freaking weird and terrifying on some level, but they're also the future. Waymo had to suspend their car service in downtown LA because they were being ordered by the rioters and protesters to set them on fire. This is how the robot uprising starts, you guys. This is how it begins.
Now simplify it. Write it like a human would write it. Oh, sorry.
Which, by the way, makes, again, no sense to me. These are like electric vehicles. They have lithium batteries. All of that smoke is so bad for you. And they're like, we're all feeling sick. And it's from the poison that they put because the protesters got tear gas. I'm like, well, you also might be sick from the freaking Waymos you set on fire as well. The lithium fires are making rioters woozy. I gotta be honest. I get it. I understand, guys, because I too do love to set things on fire. And if you live in Los Angeles long enough, you too will want to set a car on fire after sitting in traffic for as many hours as you spend sitting in traffic in that city. And I don't really care. I'm not here to promote Waymo arson, but still I kind of understand the instinct to burn a Waymo because I recently saw one when I was in Austin and there was one of those little delivery carts behind the Waymo that had no one driving in it. And it sent a fucking chill down my spine. We are living in a weird dystopian future. I understand wanting to fight the robots. But in this instance, I found myself feeling bad for the Waymo. I was like, oh, the poor Waymo. Waymos didn't deserve this. They just dutifully were sent to their death by these lunatics. LA, this is why you can't have nice things. If you go to LA to a Target, everything is locked up. Legos are locked up.
If I want to buy toothpaste, it's behind glass. Shampoo, razors.
It is insane. You guys don't need to live this way. The city's on fire. And of course, like any protest, there are good people who are there with peaceful intent.
Very fine people on both sides.
It only takes two people who just want to see the world burn to like start some shit that will antagonize the police. And then it becomes mayhem, essentially, and you're in a mob, and a mob is a mob is a mob.
The person is smart, people are dumb, panicky, dangerous animals, and you know it.
A mob of police, a mob of people, it all gets crazy, and what you cannot claim is that this is a peaceful protest. When shit starts going off and people are throwing Molotov cocktails. If 4 out of 5 people are there peacefully, that's great. But if one is hurling Molotov cocktails, it's not peaceful. And I don't want to defend the LAPD either. I've lived in LA long enough to know what a corrupt institution that is. Yet people don't like violence, and they don't like being stuck on the 101 because morons are protesting on the freeway. I'm sorry, but it's just not popular. These protesters think they're making people uncomfortable, but they're just making people mad. It just radicalizes people in the opposite direction. They go from being sympathetic and empathetic to your cause, whether it's Free Palestine or George Floyd or police violence or, in this instance, ICE raids, which I think people are quite sympathetic to, particularly in liberal cities, to fuck these people. I don't care. Deport them all. That's where they go. And then you have the media being like, what's the big deal? It's just people having fun watching cars burn.
It could turn very volatile if you move law enforcement in there in the wrong way and turn what is just a bunch of people having fun watching cars burn into a massive confrontation.
After a long day of doing whatever the fuck they do in LA all day long, which is nothing but smoke weed and do TikToks, they love nothing more than a grab a Modelo and watch some cars burn. That's exactly how I would spend my evening. Like, who actually believes that people are just enjoying themselves with some peaceful protesting and watching cars burn for fun? But this actually might be true. And if that's the case, Democrats need to be honest with themselves. A lot of the rioters are not motivated by politics at all. We saw this during George Floyd when they would interview random people looting and they were like, who's George Floyd? There are certain people who just want to watch the world burn, and that's a big problem for your movement.
Some men just want to watch the world burn.
But it's great for us because our theme song was inspired by exactly this. And the unicorns dance while the world burns. And the unicorns dance while the world burns. World burns. World burns. And we're the unicorns dancing. What's really important, though, and what you should know, is that in the name of justice, they looted a T-Mobile store. Don't forget to like, subscribe, touch my bells and buttons, and tell your friends about us. You have to stick around through the ad to see the weather report, guys. Sorry, them's the rules. If you want to kick something and have it be effective, you can't wear Crocs. You need to wear boots from Brunt Workwear. Guys, look, these boots, these are amazing. These are like the boots that will get you through the apocalypse. Look at this. It's like such a beautiful boot. It smells so good. I love them. These are work boots. They'll get you through anything. They're anything kind of boots, walk over rubble, protest, anything these crazy times we're living in is going to throw at you. These Brunt boots will get you through it. They'll also just get you through a hard work day on the job. Brunt boots are just amazing. Choosing work boots used to mean sacrificing comfort or durability. If they felt good, they didn't last. And if they lasted, they wrecked your feet. Brunt Workwear finally ended that trade-off, designing boots that withstand the toughest job sites while feeling as comfortable as your favorite sneakers. Brunt didn't just make a durable work boot, They reinvented comfort for the hardest workers out there. For a limited time, our listeners get $10 off at Brunt by using the code DUMPSTER at checkout. Just head to bruntworkwear.com/dumpster and use the code DUMPSTER and you're all set. That's bruntworkwear.com/dumpster and use the code DUMPSTER. There's a link in the description below. Father's Day is this weekend. You can still get them for the man in your life, that real man in your life. Now let's check the weather with Jimena Cordoba.
Tenemos que hablar de la fuerte tormenta invernal que estuvo afectando el noreste del país. Actualmente se encuentra en las costas, afectando específicamente Massachusetts. Se registraron hasta 18 pulgadas de nieve en algunos sectores, vientos de 30 a 50 millas por hora, lo cual hace las condiciones invernales muchísimo más fuertes. Actualmente tenemos precipitaciones de nieve cerca de la zona de los Grandes Lagos. Esto provoca un descenso en las temperaturas.
Thank you, Jimena. Gavin Newsom and other California leaders and media outlets spent the weekend blaming Trump for making them riot. It's so dumb, it hurts my brain. Instead of condemning violence, Gavin was tweeting about how people shouldn't riot because it would give Trump what he wanted. And that's like saying, don't beat your child, it will only offend your ex-wife. You can just condemn violence, but no one seems to be able to do this in these leftist cities. It's wild. How many fires have we covered under Gavin Newsom on the show? Truly, Maggie, how many has it been?
I don't know, like 18?
It's been so many. The guy is a firebug. I think Gavin Newsom's maybe the problem. Apparently the Marines are headed to California right now, or they're in California, they're headed to LA. And Gavin Newsom was tweeting, are you going to send in the Marines next time the Philadelphia Eagles win too? And yes, Eagles fans should be arrested and deported. I don't think any non-Eagles fans in America would disagree. This is very obvious. You're an Eagles fan? You're getting deported. Get out of here. Actor James Woods posted an image of people rioting and burning, and Gavin Newsom corrected him. And he quote tweeted him saying, this video is from 2020. Gavin, you're probably not making the point you think you're making. That footage of lawlessness and rioting isn't from my state burning now. It's from my state burning 5 years ago when I was also in charge. Gavin has just been roundly getting dunked on, as he should be. He's such a parody. He was daring Trump to arrest him instead of the immigrants. He literally was like, I dare you, Trump, to come out with his gravelly sandpaper voice. And then the press asked Trump about it, and then he half jokingly in his Trump way said, yeah, I think that would be great. And now Newsom is running around telling everyone in the world Trump wants to arrest a governor. Everything is so dumb. I would be more worried if everything wasn't so stupid. All these people need each other for their sick, disgusting little mating dance or whatever they're doing. It's like a symbiosis of sickness where they like just escalate off one another. Yeah. They just need to have each other to escalate. The Dems could have done nothing. The Republicans could have done nothing too. They could have done their ICE raids. They didn't need to escalate it. And just let LA burn. Let them burn their freaking city down. That's what I'm saying. And then you have all your imagery you need. And you can say, when Gavin Newsom runs in 2028, is this what you want your America to look like? I am available, people, for consulting. That's all I'm saying. And meanwhile, the people still have shitty healthcare.
Seriously.
Nobody fucking cares about the average person. By the way, none of these people freaking care at all. My favorite genre of media by far in all of this stupidity, though, is Democratic leaders talking about how things are fine in their city while cars explode next to them on the live local news feed split screen. It is never-ending, hilarious, just beyond parody imagery. And this was all weekend. Karen Bass, how the fuck she even has a job? Karen Bass, I have no idea, after horrific handling of the fires. And she's going to run again, and she's probably going to win. There's a split screen interview of Bass talking about how the riots are not the problem.
No, I don't think the National Guard is needed now. Things in LA are calm. There was a protest that got a little unruly late at night.
While the news are showing cars and rioting right next door. I love it because none of these people know what is being like shown on the video that's next to their head, because they're just being interviewed. So they don't see what's on the split screen. There's another great one that went viral of Professor Levinson talking about how dangerous it would be to use the Insurrection Act to bring in the Marines. And as she's talking about this, a police car is literally firebombed in the background. Someone drops a Molotov cocktail on a police car, and then it's just on fire while she's talking about this.
We have seen the president allude to the fact that and we're watching, sorry, Professor, there's a split screen here on the right side of your screen. We're seeing continued demonstrations, and a firebomb was just thrown down off of the 101 freeway overpass onto one of those CHP vehicles below, which is now...
It's like ridiculous. And we had this imagery during even Ferguson. Obama was talking about how things were chill and there would be like burning and, of course, the famous mostly peaceful protests. How the media still hasn't learned its lesson after all of these years, where trust in media has gone from like 70% to like maybe below 30%. It is wild to me. You would think they would learn, but it's like Groundhog Day all over again. And it does seem like it's escalating, though. It's like the 1960s all over again, except with Trump and robots. And I do feel like Fortunate Son should just be playing in the background every time I see all of this imagery. You're like, oh, we're in the 60s again, I guess.
There's something happening here. Helicopter footage of LA burning.
Well, they were fighting for like civil rights, and then they were fighting to not be drafted to a war where it was just a meat grinder and no one even knew why we were there. And now the left would argue that they're fighting the fascists and the othering of immigrants, which I agree that rhetoric, not great. Othering entire populations, pretty dangerous historically. I'm not behind it. But I do also know that we have an immigration problem. We've got an illegal problem that should be addressed. And the issue I have is that any attempt to address these problems, lawlessness in a city, just massive amounts of people flooding our borders, putting strains on all of our resources, any attempt to address that and you're called a fascist. It's just automatic. And that's a lose-lose situation. And if you're wondering about the history of fascism, do I have an offer for you? Time is our most precious commodity, and I've heard from so many listeners who have asked me for my advice about how they can spend it wisely to improve themselves and the people around them. Hillsdale College. I'm excited to partner with Hillsdale. It's offering more than 40 free online courses in the most important and enduring subjects. You can learn about the works of C.S. Lewis, the stories in the book of Genesis, the meaning of the U.S. Constitution, the rise and fall of the Roman Republic, something that is very important to learn about right now, or the history of the ancient Christian church with Hillsdale College's online courses, all available for free. That's right, for free. I personally recommend you sign up for C.S. Lewis on Christianity. In this 7-lecture course, you will examine some of Lewis's classic works, including Mere Christianity, the Screwtape Letters, The Abolition of Man, to see what Lewis had to say about scripture, prayer, suffering, joy, heaven, and hell. The course is self-paced, so you can start wherever and whenever. Go right now to hillsdale.edu/dumpster to enroll. There's no cost and it's easy to get started. That's hillsdale.edu/dumpster to register or click the link in the show notes below. This weekend is going to be gnarly. If you weren't aware, Flag Day just so happens to be Trump's literal actual birthday and the U.S. Army's 250th birthday, and they all fall on June 14th, this coming Saturday. And Trump, being Trump, will finally be getting the grand military parade of his dreams. He's been dreaming of it since his first administration when he went to China in 2017 and saw a parade with tanks and came back and was like, I want one of those cool commie parades. And it was told it was too expensive and also made him seem like an authoritarian. But now he has a nice excuse. And it happens to be because of this weird confluence of events. And I'm starting to think Trump might actually be the chosen one, guys. Like, are you kidding me? How is the 250th birthday of the U.S. Army on his actual birthday and he's president? Like, what the God? I don't know. God, are you listening? It's me wondering why Trump is the chosen one. What is Trump even doing? I feel like he can't stop trolling. I do feel like he can't help himself. He's like, it's Flag Day. It's my birthday. Let's roll tanks down the street. They'll hate it. So now activist groups, including Refuse Fascism, announced that June 14th will be a No King's Day, a nationwide protest of Trump's birthday celebration, which will include a military parade. As we mentioned, even the counter-protesters are sending out invites a month ahead of time. In Roman times, they called these parades triumphs, but they used to be held after a successful war or military campaign. Trump's just throwing himself a triumph without the successful war preceding it, which is honestly fine with me. I'm much happier about that. I would rather just let him celebrate without having to go to war first. This is completely okay with me. I mean, this is what's always unsettling about Trump, is you're like, well, the left is escalating. And are they escalating because they see the fascism coming, or are they going to escalate and activate this man into being a dictator? And then when they act like the way that they act on the left, lawless, burning cities down, completely unhinged, you kind of wish for a dictator. And I realize that is literally exactly how we get dictators. I do understand this. You get to be like a little bit schizophrenic. It's not easy straddling the middle. It's much easier just being like other side evil. I do understand wanting triumphs, though. I do know that feeling as well, because where are my accolades? If he wears his leather commander-in-chief jacket, it is over. He's going to be like, why am I in charge of the military, but I don't have any medals? Who's going to give me some medals? All I know is that by the end of this weekend, I'll most likely hate the left again. It's also Father's Day this weekend, and let's be honest, that's the real reason the left is rioting this week. None of them have dads, and it shows. You're all fatherless. I'm of two minds about this. On the one hand, I resent being called a fascist for wanting law and order. On the other hand, why exactly are the Marines being deployed? The last time they were deployed in Los Angeles was 1992 for the LA riots, when the city was literally burning, like a lot of it was burning, and it was completely out of control. And why did we have to give Trump the perfect excuse to flex his military might right before his dictator parade? I don't know. I'm all over the place. Because you're like, oh, well, I get it. But then also, let's not activate dictator Trump.
Yeah. Like, he does have it in him.
He loves dictators. Yeah. We all know this. He's so enamored with them. You're like, yeah. Phetasy News. If you love Dumpster Fire, the best thing you can do is become a paid supporter at Phetasy.com. You get the unedited version of this Dumpster Fire, and we leave a lot of inappropriate things on the cutting room floor, like this one in particular. You also get access to everything else we're doing, and it's a lot. Join us right here on YouTube every Tuesday and Friday night at 8 p.m. Central for a new Dumpster Fire. We do a live chat, which is always hilarious, and thank you to everyone who helps make Dumpster Fire possible. Thank you, Ben and Kevin. Can't do this without you. Thank you to Brunt and Hillsdale for sponsoring today's episode, and thank you to our audience subscribers, supporters. We love you. We're nothing without you. I appreciate you bearing with me and my incoherence as a white woman. Thank you, Maggie.
Thank you, Bridget.
And now to cleanse your palate, the internet is glorious.
How I wish you were here. Running over the same old ground. Wish you were here.
Remember, life is absurd, clearly. Don't take yourself so damn seriously. Take the work seriously. Don't take yourself seriously. This has been your Dumpster Fire. I'm Bridget Phetasy, awkwardly using my hands for the first time. Now make me rich! So I can get
what
a
was
better
that?
robot.
The pointing at the
I
end.
don't know. A lot of us were triggered last week when mom and dad broke up. Elon and Trump, that is. And it got me thinking a lot about divorce. When my parents split up, I was 12 years old. My husband was 10 when his parents got divorced. As a kid, when your parents split up, it sucks. There's no getting around it. You just have to kind of live through it. You're at the mercy of this situation that you have no control over. What you might not realize is that divorce never ends. 3 decades later, I'm still managing the fallout of my parents' divorce. Not in an emotional way, but in a practical way. Juggling FaceTime calls, visits, and holidays among multiple sets of divorced grandparents. It gets really complicated. Are you divorced? Are you a child of divorce? How did you manage it? What do you wish you'd known? What advice would you give your younger self about coping? Or how would you navigate your divorce differently if you had to do it all over again? I want to hear from you, America. As always, we need your tips and your tricks and your wisdom. Join me, Bridget Phetasy, on my show, Real America, Wednesday, June 11th at 7 p.m. Eastern. We will be live discussing divorce and all the things that come with it and without it. You can register to join the conversation at twoway.tv/BridgetZoom, or you can simply watch the episode at Real America Phetasy on YouTube. There are links in the description below. Can't wait to see you there.
And the unicorns dance while the world burns, world burns. World burns.